three countries became the stage for the Desert Wars. From Libya, Mussolini turned his focus east, setting his sights on Egypt. Egypt mattered because it controlled the Suez Canal, one of the world's most vital routes and a lifeline of global trade, linking Europe and Asia. With that objective in mind, Italian forces advanced east. Italian tanks opened fire, turning the desert into a battlefield of smoke, dust, and steel. What began with confidence and firepower soon slowed, and the offensive came to a halt. The Germans had little to do with the battlefield itself. Italian forces were running out of fuel, exposing one of the central weaknesses of the campaign. As long supply lines and poor logistics made resupply slow and efficient. Units were forced to pause with tanks unable to keep moving, and offensives steadily losing momentum. Italian commanders were cautious, slow to adapt, and hesitant to push forward without clear orders. Decisions were centralized and rigid, leaving frontline units waiting for approval instead of reacting to conditions on the ground. As opportunities passed and momentum faded, poor coordination and hesitation leadership turned into a difficult campaign into a stalled one. The fighting was visible, but the real problems were less obvious. Behind the front lines, the Italian forces were struggling with severe fuel shortages, with as much as 60 to 70% of required fuel failing to reach the front lines. Long supply lines stretched out across the desert and poorly organized. Logistics slowed down the resupply further. At that time, command decisions were cautious and centralized, leaving frontline units waiting for orders instead of adapting to conditions on the ground. Tanks could fire, but without fuel, coordination and momentum. The Italian camps presented our opportunity the British couldn't ignore. Under cover of darkness, the British forces prepared to strike. The operation was led by General Richard O'Connor. British troops were deployed precisely, each unit assigned a specific role. British forces opened fire on the Italian camps, catching them off guard. Once the camps were thrown into confusion, British tanks were sent forward to exploit the opening. Moving quickly through the dark, they bypassed strong points and struck where resistance was weakest. Many Italian units were caught off guard, with defense uncoordinated and unable to respond in time. What began as night raid rapidly turned into a collapse as our armored units overran camps after camps. This was a landscape where the battle would be decided. The outcome was decisive. Large numbers of Italian troops were captured as entire camps collapsed in rapid succession. Units surrounded not after prolonged fighting, but because coordination broke down. The escape routes disappeared. What began as a series of attacks quickly turned into a mass capture of Italian forces. The collapse in Libya quickly drew in Germany as the Italian forces struggled to hold the desert. Berlin faced a choice: allow the campaign to fail or interference. Adolf Hitler chose to step in, authorizing German forces to deploy in North Africa. The goal was to limit, stabilize the front, prevent a complete Italian collapse, and contain British advance. But the German troops now entering the desert, the conflict was about to change in scale and intensity.